welcome to the show. We at Trucking Life welcome you all. Now, pull that rig over, hit the head, grab a drink and snack, settle in, and let's get this show on the road. And now, your host.
Good morning, Trucking Life Nation. This is Missy, also known as Mother Trucker, and this is our Sunday brunch. Welcome to everybody who is with us today. If this is the first time for you catching our show, welcome. We are glad that you're here. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, a Monster, Red Bull, whatever it takes for you to get through your Sunday morning. We are glad to have you. I am hosting for the first time, so if I get the deer in the headlights look, just overlook it, act like I'm normal, and everything will be fine. Before I bring on my co-host, I want to give a very special shout out to one of my students. Actually, she was my last student when I was with Prime, and I happened to run into her this week in Bay City, Michigan. And to say she tested my patience at every level would probably be an understatement. And I did let her know that she will be in a couple of chapters of this next book. But to see her and so happy, she's got back into trucking and she's overcome a lot of problems that she had. Should say problems, frustrations, and the fact that she's short compared to me was part of her problem. I used to always ask her, is the attitude from Baltimore or for you being 4'10"? So I just wanted to give her a special shout out and hope she's watching today. And just to tell her I am super, super proud of the job that she's doing and that she got back into it, and just to stay safe and keep the sunny side up. Now, without further ado, I would like to have Jed bring on the fabulous and fearless tribe leader, Brooke. She's going to be my co-host today. Brooke, there you
are. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Yeah, it's still technically morning for me at this point.
Right?
But I know somebody's vacationing for a couple of days down in the romantic Keys, so.
We are having a blast. I'm not going to lie. We are enjoying our days.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad that you and Johnny have a chance to get away and just, have a couple of days off before you hit it again tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to bring up before we jump into our show topic today is this is Blitz week. So
yes.
Everybody be ready. 17th through the 19th. I think most states are already started. I got pulled in outside of Hammond, Louisiana, and all they were looking for was updated DOT inspections for the truck. So make sure truck and trailer, you have everything what you need. Check your tire tread depth. Make sure your brakes are in order. Make sure all your lights are working, because these guys are going to be doing overtime. And most companies offer bonuses if you pass. So, hey, make it money and don't worry about costing the company money. So that's all I got to say about that. But I was going to say,
when we were coming down to Florida, there were way stations that are not normally open, and they were opening and rolling everybody across and checking their DOT number. So, just be prepared for sure.
Yeah. And so, that's one of the big things is, make sure every day you're supposed to do a pre-trip. Every day you're supposed to check everything thoroughly. Does it get done? Probably not as thoroughly as it needs to, but this week it needs to be done, before and after shift. So I don't want to hear somebody, I told you so. So anyway, today's topic that we're going to discuss is women getting into this industry. When I say late in life, it's not like we're 80, okay? But I'm sure there's some 80-year-old women still rocking it. But women that have raised families, their kids are now grown. Some even without children, have decided after years of being in a career that to them feels like a dead end,
Right.
or just burnout. We have so many professions of women that, it's amazing that they have turned to trucking. And I know Brooke had her license for a while. How long have you had your license? 17 years?
So yeah, I drove school bus first, and so I had a Class B CDL for 9 years, and then I upgraded to the Class A with the air brakes. And I've had that license for 8 years now.
For 8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. AJ was what? He had already graduated by the time you did that, correct?
I got my Class A CDL his junior year.
His junior year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, mine were all out of school when I started. And although the ex is we're no longer together, he's the one who talked me into getting into trucking. We had a business, and then I was a property manager for years. And so just to say that I absolutely fell in love, I did. And
Right.
most people know me, know that I wrote my book, about the change that I took, or the leap that I took. And I'm currently working on book 2. And so it's just amazing the people that we meet along the way. And I'm looking forward to our guests coming on today, because there's just a bunch of, and there's so many other women. It's like we've got to have this topic many times, because the women we're meeting along the way, we're just scratching the surface. But I'm looking forward to us talking to them today. So
I was going to tell you too, and I didn't even think about this until just like right now, but my grandma on my stepdad's side, she did not get her CDL until she was in her 60s. And she drove truck for like 12 years or something crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
amazing. And she was badass, I'm not going to lie.
I bet. There was my workman's comp nurse who dealt with me with my last arm injury. She said she had a 91-year-old woman who had the same injury as me, and she's just ready to get back out there. And I thought, oh man, she make me look like a chump,
Right.
It's like, it's amazing when you see these women who have been out there, and some are just like me and you, and we haven't quite made it to the 10-year mark. And then there are some women have been out there since the 70s, and they're the original OG,
And has what, 20 some odd years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm so thankful for us to meet up. What was it, a couple of weeks ago? And when she got out, it's like, oh my God, you're short like me. It's like, how are you doing flatbed? Because no, I've already got one funny story of trying to get in my trailer and losing a shoe. And, it's
that was the best story ever.
But yeah, she can do it. Oh my goodness, and does that step deck like nobody's business. It's like, oh my God, hats off to you. So
absolutely.
I had something. Oh, I know you'll love this one. Okay, I wrote this down. I seen this and I thought about you guys being flatbed. And Angela, it says, I'm not a truck driver. I'm an open air material relocation specialist.
Right?
I thought, oh my God, it's for all of our step deck people. So especially the ladies rocking it out there. So
right.
Yes. But what I want to tell everybody right now, I'm blind for the moment, and I cannot see any of the comments. So Brooke has to be my true wingman on today, because you can't get super glue around your plastic reading glasses and they'll fog up from the fumes. Who knew? Donnie was like, oh, it's just the fumes. So I'm going in as blind. So if you guys make any comments, hey, Brooke's going to have to read them for me, or I'm going to have to see him after the show. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time.
It's all good. Everybody's just been saying good morning for the most part. So we'll just tell everybody, Lori, good morning. Chad, good morning. Arkansas, good morning. Ed, Linda, good morning. And good morning. Jane, everybody, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. It was, I was thinking of all the things I could do as the first time, for my first time hosting. It was like, have my little sign that said Spirit Fingers. I didn't get that done. I didn't have my on-air thing. I did manage to fix my hair, and
you look I've got so pretty.
So hey, it's going to be a successful show. So
absolutely.
What would you say, when Brooke, as far as being in this business and being in? Oh, you want to come up here? Oh, so somebody inside wants to
attention. Baby. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So
Jack and Brutus are getting spoiled by, not to get off topic real quick, but Jack and Brutus are getting spoiled by Uncle Steve right now.
Oh, Uncle Steve has them. Well, that's great.
Yes.
Well, this one here, she can't not touch me. As you can tell, she's clingy. As far as getting into this part of the business, yeah, you had your had your limo. What did you have? Your passenger license?
So I had passenger and school bus, and hazmat for a while, and I have tanker endorsement too. So before over the road, I did school bus, I did charter buses, I did high-end limos and chauffeurs over in Jackson Hole, and tour buses. I've never pulled tankers or doubles, and haven't had a need to use my hazmat. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I don't have hazmat. I do have tanker, and the only time it serves me well is when I'm getting those. I don't know what the water containers are called. The ones where you're hauling liquid. They're on a pallet. It's got like around it. Somebody's probably screaming at the thing right now, saying I should know this. I probably should, but I know I've got the tanker endorsement, so I can swish wash my way all the way up. It feels like you're seasick. When by the time you get to where you're going. But yeah, like I said, I can't.
Thank you, William, so much. We'll catch you next time. He said, "Have a wonderful show and catch you guys again soon."
Okay, wonderful. But yeah, we have so many different aspects that we can do in this with our CDL, and it's so nice to see different women doing different things. Tanker, you see women, driving the big fuel trucks, and of course you guys do flatbed and dry van and reefer. I recently went back to reefer, and then realized really fast that there's a long wait at shippers and receivers, and it's like you've got to go out and kill the chickens before they can put them on your truck. So I spent 8.5 hours last week at a Tyson waiting for 16,000 pounds of chicken, and it's like okay. Gosh. But that's teaching me I need to get back into my Zen spot with patience. Yeah,
right.
Reefer teaching me patience, I'll tell you.
Oh my gosh.
Well, before we bring on our first guest, Joanne, I'd love for Jed to do a quick commercial break, and then we can bring her on and we can talk to her about her interesting story.
Right.
Jed, please roll.
Howdy, mother truckers. Are you ready for a new literary adventure about life on the road but don't know where to start? Well, let this old road dog drop a recommendation for you. Mother Trucker, because it's never too late, is the story of a woman named Sandy, who's starting a new trucking career after decades of corporate life. Author Missy Rickman invites you to come laugh along with Sandy and her new friends' misadventures as they learn and grow on America's highways. Join readers from around the world, from California to Florida, from Okinawa, Japan, and even the Dignity Statue in South Dakota, and all parts in between. Mother Trucker is available now, online, at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, MotherTruckerTheBook.com, and wherever fine books are sold. Don't miss out. Order yours today while supplies last, and we'll see you out on the road, Mother Trucker.
Hello, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. I'm glad to see that you're enjoying your 34.
Yes.
Yes. And out of all the guests, you're I don't know you like I know the other ones. And I know that you and Brooke have been friends for a very long time. And so I know that your story is you were in the industry and then you got out for quite a while and then you got back in. So
I'll start at the beginning.
I was just saying,
my father owned a trucking company, and he hauled dry bulk cement from Allentown, Pennsylvania into his big thing was New York City and Long Island. With the pneumatic tankers. And he had some flatbeds. But I started driving when I was 20 years old. I got my chauffeur's license That was in 1979. And I worked for my father for about 2 years, and I got tired of running New York City every day. And so I went over the road with another company, and I've been with a bunch of different companies, but I've been pretty much driving since 1979. And I've done reefer, tankers, I do flatbed now, but I just do pods, so it's just strapping.
Yeah.
I've done doubles. I've pulled double 48s in Oklahoma and in Kansas, because I lived in Texas for a while and we used to run the Kansas.
Yeah.
I've run local and I've run over the road. I'm doing over the road now. But in 2009, I got sick. I got Lyme disease.
Wow.
And I couldn't work. And they wouldn't let me work. So I thought, well, I'm probably never going to be able to work again. And that's what they kept telling me. So I gave up my CDL. At the beginning of last year, my doctor said, I see no reason why you shouldn't go back to work if you want to. She said, you're 64. I was 64 at the time. And
Yeah.
I said, I want to. I miss it. So I checked around, and I in October, I went back to school. I had to go back to school because I had to just start completely over again, like everything, just start completely over again to get my CDL back. So I started at the beginning of October. I had my CDL by the middle of November, and I've been back on the road ever since.
So
I celebrated my birthday, my 65th birthday, while I was in school.
Yeah. So you had your license for what, about 20 years? No, 30 years
30.
before you. 30
Yeah,
years,
like 30,
then
about 38 years.
Yeah. Because I know that there's a huge difference between the time that you ran initially until you came back, as far as the number of women in the workplace.
Yes.
What was it like back then when it was? Because right now we have maybe I want to say it's about, some places say 10%. Some people or some articles are saying even as low as like 6.8%. I know the numbers were super, super small when it originally started.
Yeah, if you saw another woman, it was like a big deal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there were husband and wife teams, but to be a solo woman driver was sort of, you didn't see many. And a lot of things were a lot different back then. I mean, the truck stops didn't have the showers like they have now. They had open showers in the men's room.
Yeah.
And to get a shower, a lot of times you would have to get a guy to watch the door to the men's room while you were in there taking a shower.
Yeah.
And other things that I think changed. I told my driver manager yesterday, I used to always, I got really good at paper logs, at kind of manipulating. I don't want to say lying, but manipulating paper logs. And I told him yesterday, I said, when they did the Blitz, like they're doing this week, I used to always make sure I had home time then, so I didn't have to worry about them checking my logbook.
So you could say you're original that carried 2 logbooks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. I learned a lot of tricks from my father. My father and my grandfather were both truckers, so.
Yeah. I love hearing the older generation of trucking. They're like, oh, we hate these e-logs, and, you can't do what, and I grew up on the e-logs. I didn't get into the industry until 4 years ago. So as far as paper logs, do I know how to use one? I sure do when my Qualcomm goes down. But as far as living and breathing by it, no, I didn't experience the joy of that.
It was kind of hard to get used to the e-logs, but I'm used to them now. I figured out the little quirks with them and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
The thing that really got me, when I left the industry in 2009, when I got sick, I was in a truck. I owned my own truck, and I had an 18 speed. I had a 600 Cummins with an 18 speed.
Wow.
And I came back into the industry last year, and I'm in a company truck that runs 65 miles an hour with an automatic transmission. And it took me a little while to get used to. I was always going for the clutch or trying to shift gears once in a while, you know,
Yeah. I bet you're
especially in a
still using that
panic
left leg, aren't you?
situation or something like that.
Yeah.
You go for the gear. I still do it every once in a
Yeah. You
while.
still. I bet you're tapping your foot quite often during the day, aren't
Yes.
you? You're waiting for that clutch to magically appear.
Yes.
Yeah. So besides the e-logs and then changing from an 18 speed to an automatic, what other differences have you noticed in the industry since you've come back?
Too much fast food.
Too much fast food.
Yes. Not enough
That
restaurants. But
yeah.
I cook in my truck, so I might eat out maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And I cook in my truck.
Yeah. I try. I try to cook at least half of the time, and sometimes I'm just so tired. It's like I'm just going to go in and get something quick. But I do have my air fryer on here and my skillet, you know, and my crock pot. So, you know, it's nice that you can, if you have the time to sit there and, especially on a 34, and do some, you know, meal prepping and do stuff like that. That's going to help where you're not in the Hardee's and you're not in the Arby's every single day, you know. And so I've heard that's one of the biggest problems, you know, and it is a very big problem, especially when you don't have access to anything else. Or if you want access to, you know, some of the deli stuff, sometimes it's so expensive and people think, oh, well, you know, truck drivers make good money, but to live on the road is expensive every day, you know. And so I completely agree with that. And I really feel like there should be more choices. And I don't know if this needs to be like the womenintrucking.org needs to kind of help out with that. I do know that they are huge advocates about getting women into the industry. But just, you know, ATA, anything that I think it needs to be brought up that truck stops should have more choices than what they have. You know, most franchises like Love's, you know, usually if you see at a Love's, you'll either see a Hardee's or you'll see an Arby's, you know, and you really don't see anything that's different. And so I would love to see a big change in that, you know, especially at nighttime. If you get into a truck stop at nighttime, everything's closed. So you're pretty much on your own. So hopefully you got food in your truck, you know, and it just depends on how people run.
The account I'm on, I run pretty much predictable hours because of the company, their hours. They're like 8 to 4 when you can pick up and deliver Monday through Saturday. So they're off Sunday. So I end up doing a 34 every Sunday, which works out great for me. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, and I think, you know, one good thing about companies is that you have that chance, especially running your 70-hour clock out, that you do have a chance to kind of reset for the week and get yourself going. Do you run nights or do you run days? What's your preference?
I usually start out about 2 a.m. is the time I like to start out, and I run till 2 a.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. That's pretty much my schedule.
Okay.
But we do long runs. I'm on a short run right now, which is the first short run I've had in a long time. But usually when I get a load, it's 1,500 to 2,800 miles. So my days are driving. When I'm on a load like that, I try to drive over 600 miles every day.
Okay.
Because we have, and what's nice about the account I'm on, we have no set delivery times. We have a window. We have to be there by a certain day, but if we want to get there the day before, that's fine. They're loving that. And that's what I do. That's the way I roll. I like to run.
Well, that is good. Especially if you work for a company like that. My frustration getting back into reefer is they set the appointment time for the receiver before I even get to the shipper. And then if the shipper takes, like I went to a Tyson the other day and it was 8.5 hours, and I'm not a team. And so once I sit there and it burns, 3/4 of my clock, I still have to take a 10-hour break. And so, it kind of messes it up to the fact of, okay, is a reefer going to, receive only an early morning light, or will they let me set, an early morning appointment, mid-morning? And so a lot of times it messes me up that way. So if you work for a company that has, an open window all the time, but, you run, get it there and repeat, wash, rinse, and repeat, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. It's the best account I've ever worked. It really, really is. I've done reefer, and I know what you're talking about. So
yeah.
And reefer's been like that as long as I can remember, and probably will never change. It's grocery warehouses, and I don't think they'll ever change.
Yeah. So you think you're going to stay in flatbed till the end?
Yep. And awesome. I'm going to go till I can't pass a DOT physical.
Yes.
That's when I'll retire.
Yes. Okay, that is wonderful. I am so glad that you joined us today. So a couple of statistics that I found, and I wanted to pull these up, or I wanted to talk about them since I had you on, because I know you've been there the first time around. They say that there's an 88% increase of women since 2010, which is about the time that you stopped the first time. And so they're claiming right now that we have anywhere between 260 and 300,000 women that are in the trucking industry today. As far as you as a driver who has seen it both hands, back in the day when there wasn't a lot of women and there wasn't a lot of access to, showers and I don't want to say safe places, but places that women, could go that men or women, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But women can, have their own restrooms at receivers or shippers, or they have their own downtime places like, our own showers. As far as when you came back and can you really tell a difference that some things are more women friendly?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
What, if you were to talk to, let's say you had somebody who's 40 something, never been in the industry before, what kind of advice would you give them?
Study.
Yes.
Learn to bat.
Learn to bat. Yep.
It takes a lot of practice.
Yes.
And just love what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the journey.
You gotta love it. This industry is either you hate it or you love it. I don't think there's that much middle of the road.
I'm right there with you on that. It's either in your blood or it's not.
Yep.
I agree.
And I missed it so much when I was sick, and I was so happy to come back. And I have bad days. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bad days, and there's parts of days that are bad, like traffic and stuff like that, and stupid drivers cutting in front of you and slamming on brakes.
My gosh, all the time.
That's my pet peeve, is my safe space.
Yeah.
Yes.
In front of me, and cars jump in there and slam on the brakes, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, there's nothing like being brake checked by a little Volvo who thinks they have
Prius.
Or a Prius, right in front of you, or the person who's in the left lane and then zooms across 5 lanes because they don't want to miss their exit that they should have, gotten the right lane, half a mile back or a mile back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they drive that road every day,
Yes.
Right. The no zone, exactly.
The no zone, absolutely.
There was sorry. I was just going to say, there was a comment that came up. I wanted to reply before we let Joanne get out there, because I want her to answer too. Jed, can you pull that comment back up from, I think it was Tech 9 something? Yes. Okay. So it says, how are you doing with the freight and fuel prices? I'm an owner operator, solo driver, and I can say they are hurting me a lot. So I want each one of us individually to answer if that's affecting, because I want to see the different responses.
Okay. That's a good question. Joanne, what do you think about that?
I drive a company truck, so the fuel prices don't really affect me,
Right.
but I try to fuel at our terminals when I can, even though we don't get fuel solutions that say we should fuel, but I'll go 10 miles, 15 miles out of my way to try to fuel at our terminals. But I was in California last weekend, and I'm on the East Coast now, and I looked at some fuel prices when I was getting into Virginia and Pennsylvania and that, and they're like $6 and something. I was like, wow, am I back on the West Coast again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Misty?
Well, I'm
terrible.
also a company driver like Joanne. And so my biggest thing is knowing that there's some talk of fuel shortages. I don't know if you guys have run into it. My dispatcher with my company said her husband's in the oil field and said that Fort Smith was out of fuel a couple days ago, and they're supposed to get their shipment in today, but it's already all allocated. And I know the Northeast, they've been talking about that. And so that's the only thing I've learned about as a company driver. And as far as a company driver, trying to be, looking out for the company as far as not trying to speed everywhere, and try to keep the fuel, try to work on that. But I don't know how owner ops do. And I know some are getting fuel surcharges and that sort of thing. So I'm really hoping that everybody's going to make it through however long this is going to last.
Right.
What about you and Johnny? What have you noticed?
So we are saving grace is that we are specialized right now and we're getting a fuel surcharge. The trip that we took from Massachusetts and Connecticut all the way back over to California last week, our fuel surcharge covered our fuel for that leg. I was really surprised because we hit headwind going into New Mexico. So I was very surprised that happened. But on the flip side, coming out of California down to Denver, Memphis, and then down here to West Palm Beach, the fuel surcharge did not cover our fuel and cut into our profits by about $1,500.
Oh.
For one leg. So we are blessed. If we were fitting the entire bill right now, if we were not specialized and getting a fuel surcharge, I'm going to tell you right now, we'd be screwed.
Yeah. And they've called this, I've heard a lot of different shows and programs saying that this is called, Bloodbath 2.0.
2.0 is what they're saying.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people, saying they're feeling the pinch and they're feeling it cutting into the profit. And you just hope that people in today's market is going to be able to hang on, and not go under. That's what, especially some of the mom and pop places and, some of the just the individual owner ops,
they're the ones that are going to feel that pinch right now. In my opinion, if you're not receiving a fuel surcharge and you're just running off the load board, and brokering all your own freight, it's going to be very, very difficult unless you have a large cash flow, just because freight rates are not compensating. So it would be different if fuel was up and freight rates were up, so it was a balancing act, but it's not. And so what we're seeing out here, a trip to Walmart, to get Johnny and I through the week, with whatever we buy for, the 2 fridges and whatever, would normally be like $160, you know what I mean, of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's costing me at least another $100.
At least another $100. Yeah.
So you got to figure that inflation for the cost of doing business and being out on the road is also increased. So not only did the fuel increase dramatically and owner operators, that comes right out of our pocket, that's not, covered by the company, but our cost of living out here has increased, whether we're buying from Walmart or ordering from restaurants, because they're having to raise their prices to compensate for inflation. And freight rates are either staying steady or dropping. When we were trying to get our loads out of California, somebody wanted an entire truckload for 99 cents a mile. They wanted to broker that out. I'm like, I don't know what world you're living in, but with these prices, there's no way. I can't think of anybody who can haul that and make any kind of money.
That's
You're not breaking even at that point, you know?
No, I know you're losing money hand over fist at that point, and
right.
That's a lot of the stuff that I've been hearing, and so it's like, I'm so glad that I'm a company driver at this point,
Right.
and the biggest thing is just make sure, and checking is like, are we doing okay as a company? Are we treading water? Are we losing? Are we sinking? And
Right.
so I know that pretty much probably everybody in this industry right now, it's just a worrisome time, and you just hope that we can get past it,
Right. Well, and we will get past it. I mean, it's this Facebook user, I don't know who it was, I apologize, it just came up as Facebook user, just said recession is inevitable. And we probably are headed into a recession, and we will bounce back at some point. We will be fine and whatever, but it's just what's going to happen between now and then. How many people are going to, unfortunately lose their business. And so I think you're right. I think it was Dutch. Yeah. So I just feel like at this point, we just have to do our best individually, and obviously, vote the people out who are not taking all that into consideration. I was talking to a broker, and when they told me the max rate came out to 50 cents a mile, I laughed and hung up. Yeah, see, that's crazy. To me, you have to, as an owner operator, you have to decide what that minimum, amount is that you can start your truck and actually work. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even considering anything under $1.50 a mile. And at that point, we're not making money. We're just running around in circles for free. That's pretty much logistics wise. So when you think about that, and somebody lowballs you and comes in at 99 cents a mile or 50 cents a mile, I mean, and what's crazy about it is some of the bigger companies, in my opinion, I think will take that freight just because they can, they've got so many trucks that they just try to balance it out. You know what I mean? So they'll take it, and I don't know that they realize that what they're doing to the industry. I think they probably do realize, I guess, but what they're doing to freight rates by doing that, by accepting that,
I think they do, and I think it's kind of a catch-22.
For sure.
I take it at this low rate and trying to keep my head above water or keep the fleet above water, or if I don't take it, then that's somebody else is going. And so I don't envy anybody who owns a company right now, and hats off to them for making this work. The last fuel back was several years ago. I wasn't in the industry yet, but my now ex-husband and I, we had a property foreclosure restoration business, and so us just having a 16-foot landscape trailer with a zero turn and a lawn tractor, it was just oh my God, it got I think the highest it got then was like 450, and I couldn't imagine us. I mean, we made it through with the contract that we had, but we made it, and that was all I could say for that period. And so I don't even know how anybody, not only us as far as the industry and truck, but anybody else who has, even a fleet of, diesel powered, trucks. And so I have a feeling at the end of the summer or whenever we see a let up or a break, I think there's going to be a lot less people in the industry.
What, in my opinion, the biggest issue that businesses and fleet owners face is the cash flow available, because and that's what ends up taking businesses out of business. Because so if you've got a fleet of 40 trucks and they're fueling $2,000 a week, right? And it takes you 90 days to get paid on some of your brokered loads.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Think about that. How much you have to carry and how much cash access you have to keep your bills paid.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just nuts. That number is staggering right now for companies. And that's a small company. If you've got a fleet of 40 trucks, that's a small company in the industry. And can you imagine 300 trucks? I mean, thousands of trucks. I mean, that's like, if you don't have overhead cash flow or credit that will sustain you, that's where it's going to hit, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're completely right about that. And all we can do is just kind of pray that everybody makes it.
Right.
Well, Joanne, I wanted to thank you for coming on today and sharing with us. I'm happy to hear that you're back at it and you're going to stay with it to the end, and that you made the choice to get back into the industry, because this industry needs more women. I've said it since I got into the business, and I don't think that's ever going to change. So I just hope that we keep building it up, so that way more women feel comfortable and feel like they can do it and have the confidence to make that leap, whether they're young or old like us. I'll go ahead and put out the OLD part, honestly. But we're all out here kicking it every day. So, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on and talking with me in truck.
Thank you for having me.
I think we're ready for a commercial. I'm sorry. And we hope to have you back on another time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Trucking Life is proud to introduce Ed Plow. Ed streams under the handle Big Rig Ed on various sites such as YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to go check him out for a very professional and always well-researched, informative view. He also shares that view along with Melissa Rickman, aka Mother Trucker, on Trucking Life's Debate Life, where these two professional drivers are teaming up to discuss trucking industry topics. Ed's professionalism comes from having operated and taught classes on many different types of equipment. Ed is a certified master instructor and certified master heavy truck driver. He also has been an over-the-road trainer and CDL instructor, and many he taught are award-winning drivers still on the road today. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe Big Rig Ed on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, Trucking Life, where Ed drives his truck Solly with his co-pilot Trip and shows the world how it all gets moved from here to there.
Hello again. How are you?
Hello again. I'm doing great. And the fact that I can't see anybody, my screens are just like black.
Oh no.
But I hear you, so I know you're there.
You're right.
Oh, hold on. I think the producer is giving me a special report. Hold on. It looks like we may be having some people that are ready to crash this party we're having.
Nice. Oh my God, you two.
Oh my God.
We don't need him anymore.
I love it.
Isn't mean lady Moneybags Clark and Sassy Pants Burke and his pretty little sidekick?
Oh my gosh, look at you.
I tried. Excuse me, I'm over here. That's cuter over there. That's right. What? That's right.
I love it.
I'm so happy that you all are on. I can't see you, but I can sure hear you.
Oh my gosh, they are funny. You wait till you see the replay, Missy. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait. But
Crazy
I am
kids.
Oh my goodness. We have been calling off and on like, you're going to make it? Are you going to make it? Come on.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on. So
I gotta get in on this shit. You guys are like surprising me every week at this point. I'm like, oh my hell, I love it.
Well, hey, when you're out gallivanting around with that husband trying to make romantic weekends, we were making shit happen. I'm just saying,
Right?
Dumped her kids off at my house. Okay,
Right?
dumped them off. See you when.
Hell yes, I did. Uncle Steve is babysitting.
Yeah, Uncle Steve. Yeah, Uncle Steve is babysitting.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So, what are you all doing in Texas?
Yes. Yeah, we're in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Bye.
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
Oh, it worked out.
No, it was really cute. I love it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so Brooke, let's get back to some of the statistics and stuff before we bring on our next guest.
Okay.
I getting ready for today. I was looking at a lot of different articles and stuff, and for the most part, it's very encouraging to see the numbers and to see the articles and blogs that most people are writing. And one of the biggest, I'll say, cheerleaders of the group is the womenintrucking.org.
Yes.
And there's one of the ladies there that she's wrote many articles. But it shows, I think her name's Ellen Bowie. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm saying her last name right. But their biggest thing is just increasing the presence of women in the trucking industry. And so right now they're showing that, we had an 88% increase in 2010, but they're also showing that it's a 30% increase each year since 2007. So
awesome.
That right there is fantastic.
Right.
Midway.com also had a really good article about the female drivers that are changing the industry. And so they're saying that it's closer to 10% of women. And then they're also saying that a lot of the bigger fleets, like the mega carriers, some of those fleets have up to 25% of their drivers are women. And so you're seeing that growth, and I really hope that it continues, and I really hope that they keep working on trying to recruit more women. I only found one article that was kind of on I'll call it the Debbie Downer side, but it was through Bloomberg, and I didn't write down the lady's name that wrote it, but the title was women are entering a trucking industry that's not built for them. So you could just imagine some of the stuff, and it was almost like, oh, well, we've got to be home for the kids and, taking care of the husband, and almost like and I understand that women that are younger than us that do have those small kids, like if you think of Tavia and Amber, last week telling their stories and the struggle that they have.
Right.
I get that. And I really wish that there is more support. And I guess you really just need your own support system, at home to do that. But as far as our age, when we don't have the children and, like you're out with your husband, or I'm single and my kids are grown, I feel like it's our time to shine, essentially.
Yeah. And I think that, the industry as a whole, there are a lot of carriers that, we've touched on that are doing their training programs to include specific things that are necessary for women that are different than men, in the training and just the atmosphere itself. But I've noticed that it's definitely gone from just a man's industry and a man's career, trying to bridge that gap so that women can do the job successfully. Because what they're finding, and I'm not saying this to start a fight, so Pat, you shut your pie hole. What they're saying is that women are safer drivers. And I don't know why that's, a statistic or whatever, but that's just what they're finding. So insurance wise, the bigger carriers are realizing it's a lot cheaper to insure women than it is to insure men. And, we've seen that when you have children, you realize if you have a boy, trying to insure him until he's 25, goodness gracious. Like, so there's, definitely proof in that pudding, to really see the difference there. And so I think that carriers are realizing that. And teenage boys have to get SR22 sometimes because they can't get insured, so it's, I think that carriers are realizing that women are safer drivers, and they're trying to maximize that potential. I think it's a long way from being a career over the road, especially where you can, be the traditional mom, and be home every night. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, that's just not a realistic option. Regional or local, absolutely. But so, we're a long way from saying that this is going to be a woman dominated field by any means. But I think that they've come a long way in bridging the gap, for sure. And
for sure.
And I think that your situation and my situation, for me, it's like pre-retirement, because all of our kids are adults. And so for us, I mean, like, as an example, and we don't do this often, so Pat, shut your pie hole, quit giving me a hard time. We got out of the truck and rented a car and played for the weekend down in Key West. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not normal, but that's one of the perks. We don't have children to go home to. We can run for 2 weeks or 7 weeks straight. It's been 7 weeks. So we can run for 7 weeks straight and then decide, we're going to park our truck and we're going to go play for a weekend wherever we're at. And so I think that the stage of life that I'm in, I love this career. I personally love this career, and I love this lifestyle. And it is a lifestyle. It's not just a job by any means.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you completely, Brooke. It is a lifestyle. And that's one thing, with the kids grown, it's like you don't necessarily have to schedule home time. You can just schedule some downtime, wherever you're at. Or, hey, I'm getting a load here. Like, you guys are just frolicking on the beach. I just, I'm into it at the moment. I'm stuck in Atlanta, Illinois at a truck stop, but it's nice that, you have those options. Right. But I just wanted to point out, and you kind of touched on pretty much every point I wanted to make about women drivers. And I completely agree about the boys. I had 2 boys with 2 paid off liability only trucks, which was my mistake. Right. And and then I have a daughter, knock on wood, who has never had an accident or a ticket, and she made it out of her teens into her 20s and still doing good. But they say women are more cautious, which I always say, you never hear a woman saying, "Here, hold my beer," and then try something,
Right.
And so typically we have fewer accidents, and when we do, they're less serious. And for road rage, there are some women out there that do have road rage. But I'm not one of them, and you don't strike me as a type. I'm passing a little bit.
I only have a little, and it seems to increase. It seemed to me that it increased after I got on the road with Johnny.
Yeah, well, I could see that. That part does not surprise me. But women. Exactly. So but they say, what, we're better at multitasking, which I completely agree with that.
I do
too. And, as far as when we're out, and Ed kind of touched on this a couple of weeks ago, how he's an empathetic driver. I think most women are empathetic drivers. When I was doing training and I would tell my students, you're coming up over a hill and you have, a minivan full of car seats. Which way are you going? Are you going off the cliff on the left, or are you going into the, into the lake or into the river on the right? You think about who's in the vehicles around you. Even the dumbasses that are swooping in front of you and brake checking you, it might be a little bit of cussing, but it's not like you feel like you need to run over them and squish them like pancakes,
Right. Right.
But, I feel like we take our time, and I think our trip planning is so much better than some men, and some just run balls to the wall hard as they can. And then it's like, Okay, well, what do you do now? And so, but then you
Right.
have some who don't know how to manage their clock. If they're a gamer and sit up and stay up all night, and then they're thinking, oh, I can't get to this receiver on time. Well, you could have if you didn't play the game all night and you actually got sleep like you're supposed to. So it requires dedication on our part. And I think as women, I think we do bring that source of oh, what word am I looking for? That's
Jed's giving us shit. He just posted over here. He goes, you all think you're good at planning? Because we're such
okay.
procrastinators on the show.
Oh, well, that's different. That's not part of the driving. So,
That's
Jed,
not driving, Jed. It don't count.
you're still the best Jedi. That's all I'm going to say to you right now. Okay. I still love you. Okay. But I feel like we're more responsible. And I know that 9 times out of 10, our loads are going to get there on time instead of being late. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And Levon had a good point. She said, women pay attention to small details when driving. And I think she's right.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm completely agree with that. And, a lot of times, we use GPSs as, that's kind of the Bible on the road. But there's been so many times that I've seen something and I'm like, that don't look right, and then the biggest thing is you go ahead and blow right past that exit, and then there's going to reroute you, and you feel like, okay, I made a good decision,
Right.
And so sometimes it's like using, that one certain part of your brain that kind of the troubleshooting parts, like a Rubik's Cube, and you want to make sure that everything lines up correctly. And so I'm not saying men don't have it. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I know that a lot of women are great at troubleshooting. And we may not be the best at the mechanical part and knowing what is wrong when something happens. But I feel like my troubleshooting skills are pretty good, to be on the road, especially at this late of age. Not that I'm that old, but
Not only that, but now that we're all experiencing freaking brain fog. See, there we go. Yeah. Brain fog from COVID.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that makes a difference too. Hamsters is all he's gonna say, Jed says.
Hey, we all got a hamster. Mine's Harvey.
We all got hamsters.
Yeah. Yeah. He runs 24 hours a day in my brain. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hermie does not stop. No.
No, they don't. And that's just part of being a woman, I think. But it's also a part of a woman knowing that, okay, we got to do all this stuff before we get to this point. And so I love the fact that I see a lot of women out here, and women, want to get to a receiver. And I'm on several groups, and some of the groups of women are like, nobody ever talks to me. And sometimes you just got to have your woman radar on, like, okay, we can approach them. And if they give you one look, like, maybe I can approach them, but you're still glad to see them out there, and just working hard, just like, every other person in the industry, man, woman, whatever, and so it's a good thing.
And I do want to say this too. A lot of us women, naturally, when we are in thought about things on our mind or in the middle of fueling, or we have a natural resting bitch face.
Yes.
I want to say this to every woman listening right now. Even if I have my natural resting bitch face, it's okay to say hello. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I catch myself, it's so funny because my grandmother on my mom's side, I used to catch her. She'd be doing a puzzle and she'd be like, they had her tongue. Like whenever she was in deep thought, her tongue was out. Okay.
That's funny.
And I shit you not. I was born on this lady's birthday for one. And I catch myself with my tongue out in deep thought so many times. And I'm like, well, there's
That's
that.
so funny. That's so funny that you brought up RBF. I think every woman has RBF every day.
Oh my gosh.
Especially when you're concentrating on the road,
Yeah, so don't think that just because some lady is, fueling her truck, or she's walking into the shower and some guy pissed her off, or somebody cut her off or whatever, and she's got that resting bitch face, don't think she's unapproachable. Don't think that she is doesn't want to say hi or wouldn't appreciate, a hello. Christy says I have that when I put lotion on my face. Chad says you got resting bitch face when you put lotion on. That's really funny. But yeah, I've seen in a lot of those women-only groups that they're saying, why doesn't anybody talk to me? Why doesn't anybody talk to me? And I want to say to those who are out and you have that desire to reach out and say hello or good morning or whatever. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
If they don't
Just do
respond,
it.
that's on them. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And it's funny when I have a 2-year-old grandbaby, and I'd say she has RBF, resting baby face. The girl can
Oh my
mean
God.
you in a heartbeat. So I'm looking forward to seeing when she's an adult and just how good her RBF face is. So,
Right.
yeah. Well, we are having a fantastic time today, and we haven't even got to our other guests yet. So,
Let's
Jay,
get 'em
will
on
run
here.
a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, bring on our other special guest.
I love it.
Hey, this is Pat
And this is Heather.
for the Misadventures of Pat and Heather. Come check us out on our stream. We are unpredictable, unscripted, and un-PC. Oh yeah, that's Tinkerbell too. You might be able to see her too. So come check us out. Only on Trucking Life.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going, Chris?
Hello.
Oh,
Hi,
going
Chris.
good. Hello.
How are you doing? Sorry for the wait.
It's all right. I've been over here munching on some sausages.
Well, good.
Oh, okay, good. All right, good.
I think I'm on my third
it's
cup
nice-
of coffee since it started.
Nice. I need coffee.
Chris, I'm very proud of you, and let's tell everybody that's watching the show your story. This is me and Chris's story together. Chris and I are from the same little hometown in Indiana, and last late summer, early fall, I got a message from one of Chris's really good friends named Jenny, and she sent me a message and just said, "Hey, my best friend is getting ready to go on the journey that you just took, and I want to buy your book and send it to her as a birthday present. And can you put an inspirational message in it?" And that was one of the first people besides Brooke and Angela that had reached out to me to do a podcast with them. Jenny was one of the first people, and it was just like, of course I'll do that.
Right.
And I was so excited that somebody else was going to go through the journey and then kind of use my journey as something kind of like a helpful stepping stone. And so I sent the book to Chris and left her a message and put a message in there. Hey, you need any help? Here's my cell phone number. And so just watching her journey, and she's had a couple of setbacks, which sometimes I think like those setbacks make you stronger and more determined to make it.
Mhm.
And so how long have you had your truck now, Chris? 2 weeks?
Just about 2 weeks, yes.
About 2 weeks.
So,
Wow.
Old Trudy,
just
yeah.
Yeah. And so we talked
There
about
she
her.
is.
Yeah, there she is with her truck. Oh my
Yay.
goodness. And even though
I
I
love it.
didn't
I
have,
actually wanted that same color, and I got lucky. So, yeah.
that's awesome. When I got my first truck with Prime, I got like the electric blue, and it had like the lime green pinstripe, and it was like, oh my God, this is so pretty. But even
I
though
just want
I
anything
have,
but red.
oh yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't think I could deal with a red truck. But
Oh my gosh, no.
why don't you, Chris? Why don't you tell us your story and kind of let us know how it's been for you to get in at, I don't want to say a late age. I know you're over 40, and so I'm not going to ask if you can volunteer, and that information is fine. But
42.
we know that you went on the same journey as us, but we want to hear what it's been like for you.
Well, I had some changes that I was, going through at home, and I constantly enjoyed being out driving. Anywhere I go, I'm always the driver with everybody. I don't like sitting. I'm constantly on the go, no matter what. I don't, if it's just a matter of going from one friend's house to the next, I gotta go. I want to go. And then with the stuff that was going on with me personally at home, I was constantly out. I originally started out and I did a lot of worked in hotels, managing those. Ended up moving back to the hometown back in 2011 and went into working at nursing facilities. Loved it. I miss it. Don't get me wrong, I miss the residents and everything. But then COVID hit, and that's really
pressing on you. You know, it was exhausting physically, mentally, emotionally. Like it just drained us. I ended up leaving that, and for the first time since I was 16, I basically was a bum. Wasn't working. Um, just I ended up doing some DoorDash just to help, my husband at, make ends meet. And I was out driving around constantly. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go out and try this. So I just one day decided I was going to be a trucker, and I told everybody that I was going to. And I think a lot of people thought I was just full of it. So then that really pushed me even more. Okay. You don't think that I'm going to do it. You don't believe that I'm going to do it, or you don't think I can. I'm doing it.
Right.
My husband at the time, he just laughed at me, and I said, I thought he just didn't think that I can do it. He said, no, it's more that I had too much road rage. So I started this journey back in July of last year. I went to Jen sent me the book, and I was just really shocked. Like she's like, I got a present coming for you, and she kept asking me, check the mail, check the mail, check the mail. I'm like, what the heck is she sending me?
Right.
Every day, check the mail. And when I got it, and she told me, about Missy being from the same hometown, I thought that was really cool. And then, I showed everybody. I'm like, look, I got a book, and it's in the author. She wrote to me in the inside. I was just like, super special at the moment. And then once I got to flipping through it a little bit more, I find these two little pieces of paper that was even more personalized from her, giving me her
Oh.
personal number and everything. So, I'm reading it. And at the time, I'd been doing a lot of research, like, which company to go with, who's going to help me. Because I was originally looking to do the government grant, and I had to have a surgery. Well, I wanted to wait until after the surgery. So by then, the government grant had ran out. So then I'm like, now I got to find a company that's going to pay for it. So I'm reading her book, and I'm like doing all this research. I can't find the company that she's talking about. So I ended up reaching out to her, like, where is this company that you went with? And then she let me know, it was Prime. And so I went right on their website and started looking it up. And I think in October I went out and had a little bit of setback, and I had to come back home and do CPAP study, or sleep studies. And then there was a shortage of the CPAPs, and
Oh my
it
God.
was a nightmare. I finally didn't end up being ready to go back out until December, middle December. They end up putting me on hold because one, the class was full. Then the next week it was Christmas and New Year's. So I
Wow.
did not actually get back into school until January 3rd. I came
Wow.
home for a couple days in between, and then my trainer picked me up on February 3rd in that snowstorm. So I need a charger. It just was really, I went out for like 9 weeks doing my TNT training. And I got home. I was home for like 4 days, and they sent me back out to Missouri it's just been go, go, go whirlwind,
Right.
but it has definitely taught me patience.
Yeah.
I heard somebody else. There's my first day on the truck. I'd woke up, the first morning after sleeping on the truck, and our tires were stuck on the ice.
Oh.
My trainer didn't have anything to unstick, to de-icer. He didn't have kitty litter, no shovels, nothing. So another fellow trucker next to us, he came over with some windshield washer fluid and poured it on our tires. And it
Yep.
just ran right down, and we was unstuck. I'm like, that's a good little tip that I would have never thought, it just runs
Right.
right down into there. So it's like I'm learning a lot of stuff, along the way. But yes, definitely patience, because I'm queen of no patience, and I'm queen of being late. So I, my on time is definitely improved. So,
Good.
but yeah, it's been a heck of a journey, that's for sure. So,
Well, I'm proud to see that you're
But
out
yeah,
here. You've got your own truck. And I know some days we were talking the other day, you and I, about Northeast. And you're just like, I just want to go back to my
oh my goodness, up
mama's. I
northeast.
know. And so you learn a lot really fast in this industry. And you just got to take it. And, like the gentleman that helped you next door to you, with the things, there's going to be stuff that you're going to learn along the way. And there's some old timers out there, and there's some people out there that are going to be the most helpful people. Just soak it up like a sponge when you can. Every day you're going to learn something
I
new.
got lucky. Surprisingly so. I've been pretty lucky meeting, these men. Like, I just laugh it off. Like, hey, I'm new, so be prepared. You're about to see a show when I back up. You know what I mean? And they're just, every one of them just, slow down, take your time. When I was out doing my TNT, I literally only bumped 4 docks. And when we went to rest areas, he always had me look for pull throughs. Don't get me wrong, I love a good pull through. I mean, but not having that experience of it. So in my downtime, I do watch a lot of videos, hoping that something will click. I'm backing. But the other day, I've had probably 5 or 6 different guys, give me some tips, and it's like, take a little bit of this one with a little bit of that one, but shoot, the other morning I hit 3 good backs. 4th one, it was time to go into a dock. 3 open spots next to me, and I went in there sideways. Like,
Hey, that means you're a tree
and going on a hill, I was just a bouncing, It was
That's
interesting.
happy.
I was like, I'm gonna be on YouTube somewhere. Somebody's gonna be like, "Watch this girl."
Yeah.
I'll be famous somehow.
Yeah. I always say that's my biggest fear, is being somebody videoing me and putting me on Bonehead Truckers or Twisted Truckers, and they'd be like,
that's our
"Oh my
viral
God."
video out to the world. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
viral.
own it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna own it, because one of these times it's gonna click, and then I'm gonna be able to, show
Yeah.
some of these men who've been doing it for a while. I can do it, but
Yeah.
it'll come.
Well, I will say, it doesn't matter if you've been in it, 6 months or even 40 years. There's going to be times when you can, you got a dock full and you got a blind side into this narrow ass little place. You could do it with one shot. But don't give me an open dock with like 14 places to pick from. Man, I'm going sideways like Swift. It's like, oh my
That's what I
God.
did the other morning.
Yeah.
That
It's
one
crazy.
right for it is like, it was a real tight spot, and I had 3 open spots, and I put that in it was beautiful next to this Pete, right next to him, and slid right in there. And then as soon as I had to pull out of that spot to go dock, that's when I had 3 lanes again, and I couldn't get it. And this guy, he was laughing, I was laughing, and I was like, I just did it. He goes, I seen you just put it over. He said, but now you're on a hill, and he goes, just take your time. He goes, I would have got out and helped, but you got to learn it. And he said, if there would have been another truck next to you, I'd have helped you. He said, but you got it. Just take, slow down.
No.
So it'll
That's
be all
what
right.
you got to do. Slow down and learn. You're learning it, and every day it's going to be something different. So, just my best advice is to people coming in like you is just stick with it. Take your time. If somebody's going to, trying to bum rush you out of the way, just ignore them, and you have a right to get into that dock like anybody else. And everybody else has been a rookie at one point in their life. So,
Absolutely.
the biggest thing is
don't
you
be
just
afraid to get out and look and take your time.
Oh, I do. Yeah,
yes.
I definitely do.
You got to get out 5 or 6 times. Yeah, get out there and do it.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I need that extra exercise anyways, climbing in, climbing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be all hot and sweaty by the time you get in there, but
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I completely get it. Yeah. What's something about this industry, Chris, that you didn't really think about or don't like now that you're in it? I know that you have a lot of stuff that you like about it. What would you say is the worst part of the job right now?
Well, the backing until that comes, until I get that, but it's getting better. Not quite as nervous now that I've actually been looking, I started using the Google Earth so I can kind of mentally prepare myself before I go there and talk myself down. Okay, this is going to be a tight one, or you got a lot of real estate to work with. The other part is, like you said, the waiting. I got to load in the morning. Thank God it's a drop and hook. Hopefully, at Tyson tomorrow. I gotta be there at 8 a.m. So, but
Gotta
I
look
got three, yeah, three drops out in PA on Tuesday. So I'm praying that that actually is a true drop and hook. Because like I was when I was up there in the Northeast, I did that week up there. Most of those loads were supposed to be dropping hooks, and I was still waiting 4 or 5 hours. It's like
Yeah,
what's going on, and that's what I don't like the most. I just want to be able to
yeah,
get my load. If my appointment time's at 8 a.m., I want in that door at 8 a.m. and I need you
yes,
to load me and be out, get me out at least within the hour. Like there was once that we had an appointment. They loaded us. They started loading or unloading us. I can't remember which one was. This one was TNT. They stopped for an hour and had lunch, and
yeah,
then going again, and our clock just steady running, and it's like
yeah,
my money's going away while I'm sitting here waiting. And you don't know if you should lay down and take a nap or not. And
yeah,
They tell you
it's
you're
like,
supposed to be on duty, but that's one of those industry situations where, you know what? Come knock on my door. I'm resting. You know what I mean?
yeah,
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 It's
it's
just
like
crazy.
starting to figure out which ones. Definitely Tyson. You might as well just go ahead and pull them brakes and lay your butt
yeah,
down and
Yeah.
and just count it as a good nap. So
yeah,
um but yeah, the waiting is a lot of it because I just want to get rolling.
yeah,
And
yeah. That's a big. I think across the board, that's the biggest thing is, you're not getting paid, and then sometimes you don't get the detention pay. And so I always say it's a Mission Impossible music in my head. My clock's ticking down, and there's nothing you can do about it. And
hmm
so that part right
mhm,
there is one of the most frustrating. And I feel like I've got patience and to a degree, but that can even try my patience. So I don't see how anybody who's an impatient person can deal with it. So biggest thing is knowing, okay, I might as well go take a nap. Might as well, work on something else. My TNT trainer was notorious for every time you're stopped, take a nap. And I don't know how she did it. She'd close her eyes, she'd be gone. It'd be like, I wish I could go to sleep like that.
I
And
gotta put my
so,
phone down.
yeah.
Right.
And, but she'd be sleeping every time we'd stop. And so, she's always ready to go whenever, they got done. Um, but I just want to say, I'm so proud of you and I'm glad you
Thank
stuck with
you.
it. I love watching your journey and seeing all your pictures as you're, going through. And I would like to say we are still looking for streamers and content creators. And so if you ever think about, starting your own streaming, when you're going down the road or pictures and TikToks, we would love to talk to you. So we just
Well, you're
love
gonna have to. I do want to do some of that, so you and I have to
Mhm.
chat about it and figure out what I need to do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I love the pictures and all that and everything. Getting
Yeah.
out of that Northeast, telling them I want to go back OTR. I'm
Yeah.
so ready to be able to actually see stuff again instead of stinking city buildings and back ends of cars and brake lights. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, I don't know
but
anybody who's
yeah,
a fan of the Northeast. So, but yeah, we would love to talk to you, and we love seeing everybody's different, journeys on the road. Everybody's different, and everybody's view from behind their windshield is different. And so
hmm,
we look forward to. We are definitely going to call you. I'll be texting you later. I'll just let you know that. So,
that's
but
good.
thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun
Uh-huh.
listening to everything, and I've actually find it quite interesting. Was it Joanne? I
Yeah.
need her runs. Shoot, give me
Right?
those pods.
She's on a great deal for sure.
Yeah,
She
she
sure
she
does.
got the bank there on that. So
Yeah.
she hit
And
Well,
it.
I'm
Chris,
glad to
it
see
was,
her out there.
yeah, I agree too. I love her runs. And Chris, it was so nice to meet you
It's
and
nice to meet you
get to
too.
hear your story. And it's very inspirational for anybody looking to get in this industry.
Yeah,
Yes.
I actually, I for years have wanted to do trucking, but I was scared. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it on my own. I had the horror story in my mind of going to New York, backing down this dark alley and being like a sitting duck. You know what I mean? They're gonna
Yeah.
come rob
Right.
me, and I just don't want to be there alone. That was my
Yeah.
idea. I tried to get my cousin for years. I'm like, come on, let's just me and you, let's go over the road. And she never would, never would. And then she had a baby, so she definitely couldn't. So
Right.
it's just like finally, I'm like, I'm just gonna take the jump. My dad did, trucking for a couple years, and then my uncle's 30 some plus years in it. So I call him all the time. I'm like,
Nice.
I'm constantly banging something off of his head, or we just talk, and just
Yeah.
3-4 hours sometimes off and on throughout the day, because he runs from Ohio up to Chicago every day and back, and so we get a lot of talk time, and it's definitely, I think we bonded a lot more, and we got something that we can actually talk about, and that man, he could tell you could tell him where he's at. Well, at that exit, there's going to be this truck stop, and it's got this kind of food. I'm like, how do you know every exit number?
Yeah.
And like you guys was talking earlier about the food, I was saying that the other day. Back when I was younger, every truck stop had a buffet or
Good
a restaurant
food,
you
good
can sit
diner.
down.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get excited now to get stopped someplace that has a Denny's, because you can actually go in and sit down and feel like you're eating something that's semi normal rather
Yeah.
than a burger. Give me a good salad that's not one that's been sitting in the cooler for 3 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that,
That's definitely
the fruit, like you said earlier, $6 for a little bitty thing of veggies, fresh veggies, or a cup of fruit that's gross.
Yeah.
I come up through South Carolina yesterday morning and hit one of those fruit stands and got me a big old bucket of strawberries. I was so excited.
Right.
I was rolling all the way home yesterday. I was just munching on strawberries.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's
little
nothing
things
better
like
than
that.
a fresh fruit stand or a taco truck.
Right.
Oh
You
my
see
God.
a taco truck,
Oh, it
you're
makes me
looking
so
somewhere in the
mad.
park.
Right, you already blow past it. It's like, damn, there should be a sign that
Yeah.
taco truck approaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's I'm wanting to say it's like 57. It's a back highway going from like Springfield down into like Kansas, we was heading towards like Oklahoma area.
Yeah.
I don't even know. And there's like this back highway. I feel like it's 57, but it was like
I
1
think
o'clock in the
is it
morning
57
coming
or
through there.
58?
There was like it's like
Where
3
you go
different
through.
taco trucks going through there. And I'm like,
Yes.
damn, I'm a taco truck chaser.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's something I
yeah.
will definitely try to stop for. So yeah. But we
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
you
like,
being on. We have had a long show today. We didn't even have a couple of our guests are having technical difficulties. So we're probably going to have to do this show part 2. But we appreciate you being a part of this, Chris. And I'll definitely be
thank
texting
you.
you today.
Yeah,
And
holler
I
at
think
me.
we're about ready for another commercial before we say our goodbyes. So you have a safe day, and I'm looking forward to you getting on the road tomorrow.
All right, you have a good time, and you have fun down there in Florida.
We will.
So,
Thank you so much.
all right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks,
Okay,
Chris.
bye, Chris.
Do you want to be a part of our team of live streamers? Email us at truckinglife.live@gmail.com. Join us in showing the world how it all gets moved from here to there.
Or not. Yeah. There we are. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. It was like everything just froze.
Yeah.
My
like
phone
muted
didn't
for a
like
minute.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we just, as we're wrapping up, I just want everybody to remember Blitz Week is this week. The 17th through the 19th. So anybody watching can't say we didn't warn you.
Can't
yes,
say we didn't tell you. Check your front.
Yeah. Make sure you check your truck. Make sure everything looks good on your truck. And hopefully some people will be getting bonuses this week. So, but I want to say thanks for bearing with me as I'm done my first show today. So
You did so good.
Oh, well, thank you. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel kind of weird.
You did great.
I think everything went great. I haven't seen anybody since the beginning, and I know it's my phone. So my phone and I are probably not going to be friends after this. But I want to thank you for being on and helping. And we're going to have a good show coming up on Wednesday, so y'all keep that in mind. And for those who are watching, feel free to share this once we're off air and the stream is up. Go ahead and share and let everybody else know about us. You know, we are on here for you guys to see how it is on the road. And I know we have a lot of trucking, you know, some of the trucking population, but also the ones who aren't and kind of can see how we live our lives day to day and what we deal with. And so it's refreshing and fun just to share what we do every single day with you guys. So
I agree.
What else do you want to say before we end it for the day, Brooke?
I think you summed it all up, and I think you did a great job. You know, that's our whole intention of doing these live shows, is to just show the world this perspective, you know, and so they can see the different stories, they can see the different lifestyles, they can see the different lives that are impacted every day by this industry. And I think you did a great job, and you know, we got some more information out there, and a lot of times people live vicariously through our adventures, even when we think, oh my gosh, I'm stuck at this truck stop for a 34 and it's most boring. You know, we still manage to be like, oh, look at the sunset, look at that sunrise or whatever. And you would be amazed how many people live through those moments with us, you know. And so we're doing what we're doing, and I love it. We're doing a great job.
Yes, you're right. And that's one thing, you know, you got to find the beauty in life, whether you're on the road or off the road. You know, you could either be the eternal optimist and see everything, you know, some people might call it rose-colored glasses, or you can just be a Debbie Downer in life, you know. And so, you know, being the eternal optimist, you might be sitting at that truck stop, but hey, look at this cool truck that came through, or oh my God, look what this guy is wearing, you know. And so sometimes it's just fun just to be like, oh my God, I got to share this with my girls, or, you know, post it online, or, you know. And so, you know, with our pets, you know, with our food, whatever it is, you know, your spouse, if you're, you know, on the road with somebody, you know, you just make the best of it. So this industry has so many different kinds of people, and that's what I love about it. You know, you never know what you're going to find the next day. So
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic Sunday afternoon, and
you too.
And we'll be talking again with you guys Wednesday. So
that's right.
Yep. Thanks for bearing with me, as I feel like I've been, I don't know, kind of weird. Anyway.
You know what? You did great. You didn't come across discombobulated at all.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I want to thank our special party crashers for making it.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to have Johnny rewatch the show so he can see that part. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to watch it myself because I haven't seen nothing.
You didn't see it. That's right.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you. And Jed, we are ready for you to roll the credits.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're watching TruckingLife.live. Thank you for being with us today. Please like, follow, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more great content. We'll see you out on the road.